Hello there, I'm Nerobax, and welcome to, part 2 out of 6 for the 2027 season. Our 6th season at Williams. Before we begin, I'd like to thank everyone for 2,000 subscribers. Thank you very much to everyone who has liked and subscribed so far. And if you haven't yet, please do, as it does help me out a ton. But yeah, thank you very much for that. We're about to get into the Bahrain Grand Prix. And as we saw during preseason, we have probably a better car compared to, well, our car is worse, but compared to our competitors, we probably have a way better car than we did last season. So I'm curious just how good this Bahrain Grand Prix is going to go. I am tempted to just rush the underfloor, but I think we'll do that. Let's get into the race, see how it goes. Before we start the preparations, I just want to show you something concerning our qualifying results. As you can see, we are, for Piastri, 1.5 seconds ahead of third. Sainz, then Red Bull. And Verstappen crashed out in Q2. So the Ferrari is worrisome in that regard. But even Pourchaire had almost 1.4 seconds to third place. So this race could very well become a straight up slaughter. So let's have a quick look. As you see, we'll be doing a two-stopper. We'll be running the tires on aggressive. We have so much to go on that we don't really need to do anything else. And with that, we're going to get into the race. We're going to do the same for the drivers. We're going to use fuel. We're going to run aggressive. And we'll do a two-stopper here.
Go with the Bahrain Grand Prix.
And it's going to be really interesting to see just how far ahead we get here. Because this could be
away we go.
a bit of a concern, really, if you will. So Sainz is actually getting up alongside Pourchaire here. Might be able to make a move, but looks like it didn't pan out. I am going to deploy ERS here, just so that we can get ahead. But as you can see, our car is just so much quicker. Already on the starting lap, 3.5 seconds. Now, of course, we can't push ERS every lap. We can't push fuel every lap. But as you can see, we're just so much quicker than the other teams, and we're not even, running the tires for all they're worth. So this could be concerning, like really concerning, and the season might already be over if you want to look at it from that perspective. We could do another last to first here, but I don't know. It's a weird one for sure, and we still have that underfloor upgrade coming in. We still have some other minor upgrades coming in. Doohan is 14, so he is climbing with that Aston. But can he, with a lesser car, if you will, close down the gap to Albon here? It's for 5 seconds, and I'm kind of growing here. Will he be able to make that work? Can Redstappen in the Ferrari make his way up to, the points, which would be 6th position? And yeah, it's going to be an interesting season, really, here. But I think we can safely say driver matters. Hadjar has already been left behind, basically. And 12 laps in, we are 22 seconds ahead of third. Now, Piastri is actually leaving Pourchaire a bit behind here, so let's tune him down. We're going to tune down fuel usage for both. But I do want Pourchaire to be within the DRS distance, so they might do some overtaking, get some extra development points. But of course, the risk is that they will crash into each other. Let's hope that does not happen. Against us slowing down here, so it's not super bad, but
Did somebody spin out there?
Still not great. Let's just say it like that. Soft runners have started to pit here, which is, well, everyone but us, really. And if they're going to make those hards last to the end of the race, they're going to struggle. They're going to have to run conserve, so it's probably a two-stopper from everyone at this stage already. Now, since we are already reached our pit window, we are going to be burning a bit extra on the mediums here, and that should be all right.
It's a stonking lap.
I think we allow them to run 2 more laps with these, maybe. Piastri's actually left behind, mostly due to, I guess, Hadjar being in the way.
They've gone wide.
Sainz ran wide, down to 7th. But thinking we get Piastri in this lap onto the hards. And as you can see here, Pourchaire has 80 smoothness. Piastri has barely 50. And for these two running, you know, aggressive tire usage, that accounts for 3% over 20 laps. Basically, 40 points in smoothness advantage. Well, not 40, probably 30, 35. But 35 points of advantage in smoothness translates into 3% on the mediums. Running the same, you know, burn for the entire thing. And honestly, that is why I do not invest in smoothness. I have a lot of people saying that the smoothness is OP, smoothness is great, it allows you to do different strategies. And it does, it gives you more freedom. But the freedom given to you by smoothness does not, you know, help you with the pure pace gain of, you know, the pace stats. That is why I focus those instead of smoothness. And we'll get Pourchaire in here. Next lap. I think we'll just push those hards, and then if we need to, we can run the final set of mediums in a bit of a safer, well, lower tire wear. But yeah.
You're doing very good. Lap time are good. Lap time are good.
Pourchaire has a lot of fuel here because he's behind Piastri. Once he comes out ahead, he's gonna be losing some. But as you see, it actually has a lot more fuel. You tune him down to balanced here. He's gonna pull Piastri along. Also gonna make it easier for him to overtake because it does have that extra fuel compared to Piastri, about 2 kilograms. Well, 1 point something now. I'm looking forward once we get to a race with a lower lap time, how we're going to look in terms of lapping cars. Monaco this year could be very interesting. Time to tune down Pourchaire again. He has run out of extra fuel, really. But tire-wise, we are looking good. We'll just switch to probably mediums once we get down to the 40 mark.
Someone spun out.
As you can see, the gains or the losses in Iowa isn't really that big. And again, Pourchaire has a lot to go on compared to Piastri. I'm not saying smoothness is necessarily a bad stat. I'm just saying that it's not a stat that I'll focus on, just like I don't focus on overtaking, adaptability, and defending. Just not top of my priority list. Now, as you can see, we have some stretching here due to going through all of these back markers, most likely. So we're going to tune down Piastri. We did that too, which probably accounted for probably 2% or something like that, tops. So 5% over, again, a lap and a half. Extra tire life. That's not a lot. And it can come in clutch on certain races, but most races it will not. I forgot to put him up to attack. That's my bad. I'm getting a bit distracted by this, but as you can see, our car is, again, better if you compare it to the, you know, our opponents from last year. They too had developed cars. But this is just a bit silly, really. And Norris is currently in charge here, so Sainz. So Verstappen may have made a horrible move. He's ahead of Leclerc now, but still. Not the greatest of moves. We have lapped the entire field at lap 45. And we are going to get Piastri here on, I'm thinking, softs could work. But we are running them so aggressively that we're just going to burn them away. And again, it's just 1/10 difference according to this between them. So let's put him on the medium. And we'll do the same to Pourchaire this next lap. Get him in, put him on the medium. And we'll see how this goes. We might be kinder and just give him a victory in his first race, but he might actually earn it on his own. We'll have to see. New fastest lap.
I think someone's
Good to
run
see.
wide.
And now we once again will have to make it through the back marker since we pitted. But that should be alright. Now we start the entire climb bit, and they are also pitting their own back marker during this. Sorry, pitting. Getting past their own back marker during this entire squabble, if you will. Now we do have some extra fuel for both our drivers. There aren't a lot of laps left. Let's tune them up to balance for a start. And probably on the second to last lap, we'll put them to, you know, the speediest.
To have been a lockup.
And hopefully here now, we can have a bit of a fight. Although Pourchaire is getting kind of left behind here. So we'll see how that goes. Let's go deploy. Let's go deploy. And see how we do in terms of fastest lap. There we go. First race of the season done. Everyone lapped.
Okay, check it flag.
Which isn't that much of a surprise when you have 1.5 second basically on quali. And yeah, good start to the season. We might end up again being a bit too dominating. We are lacking pass, remember. Pourchaire has a side pod that Piastri hasn't, so he has a better starting points, better starting curve, depending on how you want to look at it. But yeah, we overtook everyone. Red Bull here, back in second by if we judge it from this one race. Sainz and Norris 3-4. Verstappen, Leclerc 5-6 for Ferrari. Mercedes has fallen down to 8th and 11th. McLaren 7th and 10th, so just outside the points. And Alpine in 9th and 12th. So still an interesting one, but with the new point system, it's going to be interesting to see who is able to claw out points to, you know, climb up to 4th. Because right now, in terms of championships, we are 1-2, of course. Red Bull is 3-4, Ferrari is 5-6. And it's the same for constructors. So, going to be an interesting one in that regard. But, yeah, let's get on with it. I mean, they still have a decent growth potential here, but it's, I believe, lower than Pourchaire had last year, and he's younger. So Pourchaire probably has one of the highest growth potentials in the game, which is interesting to watch. But Piastri's gone down to 1.6, still high, and they still did decent. Both of them 1,500 points for each, and 850 for Behrman. And as said earlier, we would like to get a female in, but none of them are allowed. They haven't done enough time in F2 and F3, so I'm probably going to have to wait until someone is 20 or 21 before we can do that. We performed our performance incentives good, which means about an extra $800,000. Again, we don't really need money. Not a big concern, but it's still nice. Now Piastri's point is going to go into accuracy. And again, get these to 97. So Piastri has 48 smoothness and Pourchaire has 35. So again, 83. So again, a 35 gap between the two. And 35 points of smoothness is, well, it's a whole lot of points for just, again, 5%. We're going to be looking a bit into smoothness on the other tracks too, just how much of an effect it does have. Maybe we will be upping smoothness here a bit for Pourchaire, try and get it to 100, try and get Piastri's to 50, and see just how much of a different 50 points in smoothness actually has. It could be an interesting thing to do this season, because we currently don't seem like we really need to develop our drivers a lot, all things considered. But let's continue here. Post-race overview Grand Prix. Bahrain Grand Prix, done. Board confidence is high, as you would expect. And we'll have a design completed for the new Grand Prix, Saudi Arabia. Up-and-coming driver, let me guess, another one that we cannot propose a contract to. Again, I wish up-and-coming drivers were drivers that, you know, you could actually do anything with, because right now they're just a name on the list until we can, you know, have something to do with them. We'll be manufacturing this suspension, of course. We'll do it normally. Should be okay. And I believe we might have some... Yep, a new piece here for Piastri's car. And do we have an underfloor? We do. So, as you can see, it's still quite the huge boost here. 0.26 kph for just top speed. 0.2 for DRS. Decent amount of turning. So I'm thinking we put this on Pourchaire's car. And see if he can, you know, do something against Piastri. But this is going to make our car, again, even more of a rocket ship compared to our opponents. Which is going to make things a bit, you know, awkward, in all honesty. But it's just how things are. Nothing we could really do about it. yeah, I think we are good. We should be ready to go to Saudi Arabia. Here we are, start of the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. As you can see, our drivers have different strategies, and that's because I want to test something. In the qualifying here, we had 2 seconds down to third. Pourchaire qualified P1 by 2/10 on Piastri, probably due to, again, the chassis. Sorry, not chassis, the underfloor. But what I want to test here is smoothness, honestly. We're going to do a little bit of smoothness test here. So we're going to have Pourchaire do a one-stopper. And what is estimated to be his race time is 1:17.13. Piastri, 1:71.17.01 with their two-stopper. And we're basically going to see here if, you know, using smoothness, stretching the tires is more effective than just running all out here, trying to make things work. And again, we are going to be probably putting Pourchaire in kind of bad starting position here. We're going to allow him to burn extra fuel. We're going to go deploy in the ERS. And basically, we're going to be purposefully running our drivers away from each other during this race to see if two-stopper more effective or a one-stopper with standard.
We're now moments away from this, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
I think Piastri's already gotten, yeah, Pourchaire. Don't hate each other, boys, please. Pretty please. Yeah, Russell has actually had a good qualifying, good start here. Down in third. Verstappen, Leclerc, 7th to 9th. Albon and Gasly had good ones. And unfortunately, Doohan is all the way here in the back. But our boys here have basically already gained the second to the rest. So let's do this. Gonna do this.
Leave court, please. Copy.
And if Pourchaire hangs on, good on him. If he does not, then we're not going to be doing any moves to alleviate that. The goal here is simple, just to test how, you know, the different modes have an effect. And as you can see, Pourchaire has already been kind of left behind here.
They firm on DRS.
So Pourchaire will be stretching these hards. Piastri will be burning through all these tires. And we'll see how much of an effect that has. Because again, Piastri here will have to run conserve probably. And Pourchaire will be... I don't know, I don't think he'll have to go all the way to conserve. But it's still going to be an interesting one. And especially considering that we had a predicted race time of 1:17. So by the time we get over the finish line here, it should be 21:17. Is what I would guess. But Pourchaire's actually hanging on 2 seconds behind due to the fuel. But we're actually going to have to tune Pourchaire down here too. He'll have minus 0.4 laps. We'll have him save a little bit and then we can have him push again. So the one-stopper might actually be the way to go, even though, you know, your game tells you different. We'll have to see once the tire usage gets a little bit lower. He's actually using less than expected due to, I assume, running in fresh air, so might have to do a little bit of change here. But again, I should probably test this when they both had the same car, because Pourchaire does have an advantage in the underfloor, which on qualifying translated to 2/10 per lap. So we'll have to test this again later too, so don't take this as gospel or truth. They have different cars, and that is actually quite a huge difference in performance. So let's see, if we add 2/10 to, again, what Piastri is getting, he would be, well, another 4 seconds ahead of Pourchaire. We're a bit late here getting onto the hards, really, but that's because I got distracted. That's all on me. Piastri's out in second, probably lost a little bit of time due to running those hards all the way to the ground. But he could make those last to the end if he wanted to, and... I could, but I've done this now, so we're going to be switching to softs probably towards the end. And as you can see, Piastri is gaining on Pourchaire. Quite a lot, actually.
Was that a lock-up on the track?
Well, not that much then, this last lap. I guess it's due to backmarkers. Pit window has been entered, but... We're going to be stretching these tires a little bit more because, again, smoothness has been working in his favor. And we'll have to see when we switch over to a different set of tires here, mediums. We stretched those mediums a bit too far. Let's stretch Pourchaire's tires for one more lap, maybe. There we go. We're going to do this lap. Get him onto that medium stint to the end. And let's say that he has 2/10 advantage due to the underfloor, as he had in qualifying. And that translates to, well, you know, about 10 seconds. So if Piastri is within 10 seconds, I'd say he wins. Can also tune Pourchaire's fuel usage up a bit here, due to him having more. So let's do that. Let's have Piastri burn these halves down to maybe 40%. We'll have a look at the strategy here. Gonna add new, which freezes time. And if we were to switch to mediums, we could burn those no problem. Softs, they would last, but it would be kind of an awkward one. Let's do this. Will be Piastri's strategy, and it's actually pitting time for him if we do that. Still 1.17, 117 blank, so we'll have to see if Piastri can make that move, and yeah, I think it would get him pitted here, just as the game wants us to, but here, again, these don't last a full. They've already been used, so let's run him one more lap through this, and with that, we should be able to get him onto the softs. Of course, getting stuck behind traffic is a problem, and Piastri's going to have to run through traffic twice here now as a result. But it's just 3.5 seconds behind Pourchaire on fresh softs, well, scrub softs, versus Pourchaire's 60 mediums. So we'll have to see if Piastri can actually catch up here or not. And that's going to be the biggest concern. Pourchaire actually for the fastest lap there. Which means, no, was that Pourchaire with the fastest lap, or was that Piastri? But yeah, what's actually causing problems right now is getting through the back markers. That's actually where Piastri is losing out. He's losing out a lot on that. Now, we also have extra tire usage here, so we could, of course, have Pourchaire go attack it to the end. And
we've just had a crash on the track.
That's what we're going to do for both here. Push, deploy, attack, push, and deploy.
And this will be the last lap coming up.
And we did have a crash on the track, but we aren't too concerned about that.
So that's the flag.
Now again, Piastri is 2 seconds behind, but let us remember that again, Pourchaire has a better car by quite a big margin because of the underfloor. So we'll test this again later on, but Piastri could probably beat him on the 3-stopper. We could probably give him Pourchaire a bit more usage on that final stint on the tires to, you know, keep advantage. But as you can see, even fastest lap, he has an advantage. So 2/10 might be generous, since that is the smallest, you know, difference, since they're both on quali spec, but it might also be the most correct one. So we'll test this later on when they both have the same spec car, and you know, a 1-stop versus a not what you usually see a 2-stopper. I think that could be a fun thing to test this season, just having a look at the smoothness comparison between these two. But yeah, Pourchaire won. Russell actually got points for Mercedes, Ocon got points for Mercedes, and Sainz and Verstappen got points for Red Bull and Ferrari. Just inverted compared to previous races. Now Doohan did better this race, got up to 16th. Had a bit better in terms of lap times, so that's looking good. But hopefully they can give him a better car. He did a 1-stopper, which probably helped a bit, but Alpha has definitely fallen from grace. It's just sad to see. In terms of the Driver Championship now, we have Piastri still in first. But it's shared now with Pourchaire. Sainz third, Russell climbs up to 4th place with the podium finish, if you will. Redstappen still in 5th. Ocon moves up to 7th since he has scored a point. And we now have four teams in the points. We'll have to see if we get more, but this could be a bit interesting, really. Let's move on. In terms of development, as you can see, since we had them on split strategies, they suffered because they didn't do any overtaking. Just, as you can see, one there for Piastri. One overtake, one defend. 2 defends, 1 failed overtake, 2 failed defense for Pourchaire. So again, running different strategies isn't good for your team. It isn't good for your drivers. You want them to DRS train off each other so that they can get development points, really. So we might test this again on, you know, once they both have the same car and on a track that is a bit better. Also, we need to keep in mind that Pourchaire doesn't have the same pace stats as Piastri does, so we might have to make some work happen there as well. We gained 1.7 million from performance incentives, which is good. And yeah, a very good weekend for us. Boardroom refurbish has been completed, and we have points here for Pourchaire. Gonna go into cornering. And as I said, they do have difference in their pace and consistency stats, but I think the car was the biggest difference between the two of them this season. Oh, sorry, last race. Boardroom refurbishment complete. We have points for our stuff here that we should get done. And I believe I forgot to actually start a new suspension design. Oh, sorry, a new design after we did that suspension, which I did. And I'm thinking we'd just do another suspension here. It's probably not going to be a huge upgrade, all things considered, but we need to focus on the minor parts here. We might do a little bit more research once we get it, but for now, we'll just do another suspension. It's perfectly alright. It is an expensive part, though, to manufacture, or sorry, design. And with that, we need to... That's also something we need to keep in mind. And I'm once again a dum-dum, because I did that before I put points in here. But for black is not a problem, we're going to do rear wing, moving up to 89. And for... Well, the race engineer is who I wanted to get to, but we did. Moves him up to 82. Almost maxed the pit crew management, which, well, helps with pit stops. And Jago also has a point to put in. And of course, I had aerodynamics. Points will go into... I think I'll just go drag reduction. I'm just going to put 2 points on drag reduction here, because I don't know what is the most efficient stat to put everything in. That will require a bit more testing, and right now, we don't need to eke out that little bit of percentage gain, so I'm happy with this. Next race will be Australia in 11 days, and by then we should have some new parts come in for our drivers, of course. Refurbishment has been completed, and we're happy with that. We'll also have a chassis design, I think. We do. And a car development report. Second place is due to, again, us putting the underfloor on Pourchaire's car. How do I want to manufacture these 4 chassis as? I think we will. And we're going to make 4 more probably down the line, because we're going to do another chassis development project right away. And it's just how things are. We need to focus the chassis, and we are going to do so. I had some question on another video about how expertise works, because this isn't expertise. This is all your bonuses combined. So if I go back one here, this is the expertise. Current expertise for drag reduction for the car part is 50.9. We have boosted from the head of aerodynamics because we upped drag reduction to 90, as you can see. Gain a 0.1% boost. And we have our technical chief, and then we have the design focus. And as you can imagine, this all adds up to attributes. And that is basically how you get it. But expertise is just this little number here. This is your staff. This is your wind tunnel CFD. This is your sliders. And then it all adds up to a certain, you know, attribute percentage. And that is just how things are. There's nothing more we can really do about that. And again, just how things are. Let's get this chassis made, and I believe after Australia, or the next race after that, I believe we will have our first regulation change. We'll actually have it in 5 days, and then we'll have the result in 2 weeks. So I think that is when we will... Just a bunch of manufacturing completed, yeah. I think that we'll have our designs done by then, and then we'll go purely into research again, as we have done in previous seasons. Just to make the life a bit easier. Let's see if there's any big regulations coming in. Minor technical changes. Okay, so... Low speed downforce, high speed downforce. Now, high speed downforce is easier to get than low speed, I think. Still a fairly, you know, decent regulation, though. I think we're going to vote for high speed. Should be okay. And by decent regulation, I mean it's going to have an effect. Control up for PS3 here. And again, as I'm thinking, we're going to get these up to 97 each. And then we're going to put 2 points into smoothness. And then we're just going to do with overtaking and defending. Smoothness would be nice to boost, don't get me wrong. But I want to test that thing with Pourchaire as well. So we might just go ahead here and invest points to get the smoothness to maximum. And of course, it's going to be worse than PS3 due to, you know, the pace stats and the consistency stats, but it's a tire usage I'm interested in mainly. Underfloor manufactured. There we go. We now have underfloors for both our cars. We also have some other manufacturing projects coming in here, so we're going to get all of them done before we, well, before we do anything really. Performance targets, qualifying Q3, drivers, and qualifying position will be 1-2, as expected. Fastest lap and qualifying position streak, finish position streak shouldn't be a problem. Now, as we're about to head to the race weekend, we're going to go warehouse, we're going to check underfloor here, and we're going to slap one onto Piastri's car as well. Suspensions, again, for both cars, it's, again, a decent boost here. We're going to lose some brake cooling, but the speed, the acceleration, the cornering is, I think, more than worth it. Side pods are on both cars, wings, chassis, we have one. And again, here I was going to say, since this is the second upgrade since the start of the season, it's going to be smaller than your first one, and that is just how research works. Research gives you a balanced car part, and once you set your focuses correctly, it will up the stats quite drastically. So the first part you make every season is actually quite big. If you are a midfield or a lower end team and want to compete from the start of season to, let's say, you can run your project on rushed, but it will result in the third piece you design this season having even less of a, you know, gain than this chassis, because rush gives less expertise, but it gets the part out quick. So if you want to be competitive from the first race of the season, you can, but you're sacrificing a little bit of future gains, if you will. You basically, as I said, we'll be sacrificing a little bit of the future gains. We'll put the new chassis on for Pourchaire, give him again a little bit of an advantage. Oh, I believe that's everything, and we can now head to Australia. And we're ready for the Australian Grand Prix. As you can see, we'll be doing a two-stopper, medium, hard, medium, for both our cars, first and second, as we, well, have been doing this season. And we had a great car setup. Both our drivers haven't reached 100% parts. What am I trying to say? They haven't completely understood the car yet with the, you know, getting used to the parts, but still. Very good setups all considered, and let's see how this race goes.
I don't want to tempt fate. Brace yourselves for the Australian Grand Prix.
Surprise right here.
And it's lights out and away we
Show
go.
managed to get it onto second row, which is actually quite interesting. Doohan still at the back, sadly. So honestly, I would really hope that a better team, well, this might be a bit rude, better team than Aston in the current save at least would have picked him up, because that way you could actually see what a little bit of what he could do, if you will. And as I say that, he locks up. But another big question is, will he be able to catch up to his teammate, of course, and the rest of the cars in front? It looks like he doesn't really have any problem doing that if, you know, I wouldn't get tossed out of the menu every 3 seconds.
You're doing very good. Lap time are good. Lap time are good.
15 seconds up. Well, pit stop up basically after 6 laps. This is
I think we've had a car run wide.
this is brutal with the new upgrades. By Monaco, we're probably going to have a car that can overtake everyone twice. Maybe 3 times even. So it's going to be quite rough, really, all things considered. We keep on setting fastest laps, which keeps on chucking me out of that menu. But as you can see, they're both running the same right now. 3% difference on running attack, 12 laps in. So again, probably about a 6% difference at the end of the stint. Tops.
Let's take a look at the replay.
Someone went
now
off.
We see the Williams here. And they've gone wide,
Well,
wide.
ran wide, didn't get any damage to car by looks of things, so
big blow to the team.
actually good.
Able to recover?
Pourchaire now has 3 seconds on Piastri, but we are going to slow Pourchaire down. 6% difference here right now, and I would assume he lost a little bit by running wide. Now, but still, 6% it's a lot. I'm not saying smoothness is worthless. I'm just saying the gain is very little. Again, which is probably a bit weird to say.
Oh, big lock up there.
Did he lock up again, or is this when he went
now
wide?
We see the Williams here.
That's when he went wide. Yeah, Piastri is going to catch up to Pourchaire fairly rapidly there. And again, we do want that because they can then DRS of each other, then they can overtake, and generally just level each other up. Which is the whole point. We are going to be stretching these tires a little bit more. Especially for Pourchaire, but Piastri, we're probably going to get him in. Going to give him 2 more laps on these mediums, I think. That should be okay. And we'll be calling him in now on this next one. And Pourchaire, we're going to have him stretch it 1 lap longer than Piastri here. And we're going to have to delay the pit stop by 1. There we are. Yeah, we're going to be pushing it to the end. And we're going to see just how we end up towards the end of the race. Everyone else will have to pit. And we still have a pretty big advantage. 24 seconds and a pit stop to 3rd. Pourchaire got left behind a bit there. Let's slow Piastri down. Just the nature of getting through the back markers. Hopefully with a 1.7 patch it'll be a bit, better. But that's just how it is. Can't really complain too much right now. It does happen in, well, real races too, even though it is annoying. I think if they implemented penalties when it doesn't work correctly, it would probably help a bit. Tsunoda, I believe, ran wide there.
There's a spin.
Oh, he spun. Okay, okay. Took you 3 races, boys, to...
Now we see the Williams here.
Okay, so it was whoever was second that locked up and took out the other one.
And a big
And it looks like we lost a rear wing too.
The team are devastated.
Piastri with the penalty. Okay.
Just what happened out there.
The Piastri locked up, which happens. Piastri's good, he just had front wing damage. Which means that we will stick on the hards. We'll just have him go in and fix that front wing. Now, Pourchaire, on the other hand, is going to be a bit worse for wear because he has major damage to rear wing. He might straight out be out of the race, and we are going to have to put him on new tires. So he might be out, of course, but we're just going to do this to make our life easy. Now, did he actually have damage to front wing? No, he did not. Okay, so I do not need him to switch his front wing then. Let's do it like this. Confirm changes. But I think he's out. It's no, he's actually driving. Can he maintain this without a rear wing is a big question. 3rd place.
Who's that just crashed? Let's have a look. Now we see the Williams here.
That's a bit of a shame, really. But again, this is the risk you run when using the
You can clearly see the contact there, and that caused
the overtakes to level your drivers. But we'll have to see if the major damage to suspension and, of course, the rear wing it's going to harm Pourchaire that much. It's also a shame that happened just after the pit stop, but he is losing time to, of course, Piastri. Piastri actually pitted first and then cost Pourchaire an extra 5 seconds. Interval-wise, yeah, he's 2 seconds slower than virtually everyone. So he is losing out to 3rd place. I'm thinking we tell Pourchaire here to retire because he will not be able to hold on. We're currently just wasting more of our powertrain here. But most of these parts will be relegated to practice only use anyways. But I'm thinking we just retire the car. He's just going to end up falling to the back and nothing we can do really about that. Gonna have to see here if Piastri can make something happen. And he probably will, but it's a shame it went like that, honestly.
Yeah, P0, P0.
That is a shame. Well, hopefully they don't now start the new war, if you will. Keep on bumping each other off the track, but it was a lock-up. Piastri at the back of Pourchaire, it happens. It happened when Doohan did it too. Doohan and Piastri did a lot of that. Both of them really, so we'll have to see how long it takes until Pourchaire does his first. But it's gonna happen and you're just gonna live with it. Even though it's disappointing and annoying, it's just how things are. It's a risky run. 40 seconds now, down to 2nd place. In terms of tire usage, I think we will be okay. We stretched the other one for 19 laps. But we'll play it safe. We'll get probably at least one more lap in here. And then we will go over to final set of mediums. Bit of a shame that the railing took as much damage as it did. If it's been minor, we might have been able to make something out of this race for Pourchaire. 30 seconds now down to 2nd place Leclerc. And because of that crash, we are of course going to have a bit more of a challenge. But even with a crash, a penalty and everything, winning by half a minute before I jinx it is still pretty good.
Sounds like we've had a spin.
Got plenty of tire life to play with here too, so we should be completely good here. In terms of fastest lap, we should have it just by virtue of our car being very much, well, a lot faster than our opponents. But if we want to do a push lap at the end, it's going to be a bit challenging because we probably will have to try and get past, well, the train over here. This will be that final lap. Let's go push. Let's go deploy. And just see what Piastri can do in terms of
last lap.
setting a fastest lap and getting through
Like
Russell.
2nd flag.
Still, I'd say this is acceptable, except for, of course, you know, us crashing out. Alpine manages to get onto the into the points here with a 3rd and 4th, which is quite impressive, all things considered. Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, 1 car in the point each. And with that, we have a little bit of a change here to the Drivers' Championship. Go up 6 positions, and well, it's basically due to where you finish. Schumacher was up into 9th, which puts him up into 13th with 0 points. But we now have 10 drivers who have scored points. 5 teams in it, I believe, as you can see. So, going to be interesting. Maybe not as interesting as one would like with the full point scorings, but we're going to be interested to see if Alpine can keep this up. And if we maybe can avoid crashing into each other as much as we do. When it comes to development, it suffered, of course, because of us crashing with each other halfway through the race. As you can see, Piastri didn't get a good rating, and Pourchaire got an even worse one, which of course hurts a lot. Performance ratings go up to about an extra 500 points, so if you get a good one, you're gonna benefit greatly. Made about 700,000 from extra performance incentives, so that is good. And with that, we will now have the research beginning as the well, the low speed downforce changes came through, the opposite of the one we voted for. So we're gonna have a little bit of research to do to keep that from, you know, not losing too much. And congratulations for the race. We'll start doing research now, because again, our car is just too good, and it's kind of weird to say that, seeing that we had huge regulation changes, but maybe during those huge regulation changes the AI should cheat a little bit. I know it's kind of bad to say it, but try and make it a little bit more equal maybe, because right now it's a bit too unbalanced. Get a new chassis on both cars. We're going to make a new front wing because we need to have some in store. We did destroy our car somewhat. Front wing, rear wing manufactured, good. Now we're back to what we should have. Pourchaire has low morale. Okay. He got crashed out. I understand why he wouldn't be happy about that, but nothing really can do about it. He'd be okay once he does a couple more races. Victories, podiums should help, potentially. Behrman has 2 points. We're going to put them into braking, just both of them. And with that, we have the suspensions manufactured, good. We'll have a design coming in at the end of the race. Well, 2 actually. That's good. Emilia Romagna, our weather center, is in need of refurbishment. We'll get that done. And again, we are given a driver that we can't do anything with. Qualifying Q2, let's go. There we are. And both drivers in top 2. And I think we're ready. Let's head over to Emilia Romagna. Here we are at the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. As you can see, we have no strategy. We're starting in the softs, and that is due to the fact that we get rain within the first 10 laps. It's going to be pretty bad for most of the race here, so I'm expecting us to have probably wets until lap, well, around the lap 30 mark. Probably as distinct on inters, and we'll have to see here just how bad it's supposed to get. But as you can see, the orange line is below the blue, which means that wets will be the most effective one. It's something I've been told, and in the wet races I've had so far, it seems to be pretty accurate. So if your orange line is below the track grip, that would be, then you can expect wets. If the track grip is above, go inters when you have wet racing. So with that, let's get started. We once again did a 1-2. Shouldn't be any surprises there. It's basically how things are going now. And as I said, I'll just play this season. Normally we might do some fun things on other races,
All eyes
but
are on the race here at the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. And it's lights out.
But for now, we'll just run it normal. That is one hell of a start from Piastri. As you can see, the others are following a bit more closely, except for Russell here. But pretty good start there from Piastri, and, well, Pourchaire and Piastri are both sailing off into the distance there.
You would have DRS.
Schumacher done some shenanigans. Fuel is not looking good. Let's tune it down to balance, and then we'll tune it further down during the rainy period if we
Doing very good. Lap time are good. Lap time are good.
if we feel like we need it. We're gonna have to double stack. So what we could do is have Pourchaire run further back, or have Piastri run further back. But I don't think we'll do that.
There's a risk
It's
of rain coming. Yeah.
not really what we want to do. So no rain for this next 5 minutes. In 3 minutes though, 75% chance.
That's a stonking.
And as you can see, the forecast hasn't really changed, so we are going to go directly to wets here. And Pourchaire overtook Piastri while we had that thing going as well. But
We're expecting more rain to come.
we're going to double stack here. We might actually lose out because a lot of these guys are actually going to pit. So The fact that we're this quick is actually kind of a detriment right now, funnily enough. But we'll have to see if we lose out. None of them actually pitted, so should be actually having an advantage then. Seems, well, there will be more rain on the track as a result of that for the others. So with that, even if we run attack kit, should last to the end, but there will be a period where we end up with, as you can see, intermediates, and during this we're going to lose a lot of durability. We might lose durability here too. So if we want to try one stop, we're going to run in standard, and for Piastri we're going to just go conserve harvest. Sorry, not for Piastri, we're going to go push actually. Going to do that for Pourchaire, so that Piastri has a chance to catch up. Now there is no DRS, but we could still allow them to follow each other. And there we are. Honestly, I shouldn't have done this in truth. We should just let things go. But yeah, as you can see, 7mm of rain on the track, which is a lot really. We also have 40 seconds now on lap 12. Yes, he ran wide, but he's still on the back there, so not a big moment really, which is good. Gasly in third, actually having a gap is also kind of interesting. Hadjar in 7th because of him pitting earlier than the others, so he gained a lot on the early pit stop. Like a ridiculous amount really. Doohan is down in 17th sadly. Again, I don't think the Astons can do anything for him. I hope that he didn't sign a multi-season deal. But yeah, nothing we can do for him now really. In terms of the race here, Pourchaire is first, Piastri second, about a minute now to fourth, and 20 laps in. So this could get nasty in terms of lapping, especially considering that we might be able to stretch these wets to the end of the race. Now, on the other hand, the other drivers will also be able to do the same, but we just have a lot better, well, lap times here. Almost 3 seconds gained. Sorry, 5 seconds here. Well, this was a worse lap because we're going through traffic. But at one point we had a lot of time going. Luckily not a safety car. Schumacher and Doohan crashed actually. Bit of a sad one for us. Pourchaire has left Piastri a bit behind due to probably going through traffic. But as you can see here, we're running 3 seconds ahead for Piastri to third. 3 seconds to, well, more than 3 seconds to fourth. And as you can imagine, then over the course of a race here, that is going to become a lot of time.
Cars have crashed. Here's the replay. Now let's watch this. The Alfa Romeo involved in this one. Oh no! And there's the crash. Mark my words, there'll be questions asked about that later.
Luckily it didn't look like he got any damage to the rear wing, which is good. And let's see. Oh,
sounds like a single car.
Schumacher did another one.
There. Now let's watch this. The Alfa Romeo involved in this one. And then
that could potentially be a safety car. Looks like Schumacher's still in it though, so we're good. Yeah, Piastri is kind of getting left behind, but again, I believe that is mainly due to getting stuck behind others, because as you can see, they're running the same setup, but Piastri is gaining a bit here in terms of lap time. 2/10 last lap, almost 3/10 this lap, and he should have plenty of time here to actually catch up before the end of the race, but the back markers is basically what is gonna potentially slow that down. We'll have to see. Gasly is having a very good race though. He's in third, and if we look at Verstappen, he's pretty far behind. In terms of 17 seconds behind. It's almost a full pit stop. We'll have to see if he can make something do before the end of the race with that. We are getting closer to the period here without rain. The track water is going down, so we'll have to see if it becomes a problem or not. Currently, in terms of you know, durability left, we still have a lot. So I think we'll be fine. But we're just playing it safe here. And again, we have lapped everyone.
I think there's been a
So
lock-up.
we don't need to really push. We're still good. We can leave things as they are. Pourchaire locked up while doing overtakes. Did he gain damage? He did, of course. Terminal damage from wing, minor damage to chassis. Luckily no component damage. But we're going to call him in, get on a new pair of wets, get him on a new front wing. And we're just going to run him as is. Because I don't think he can catch up to Piastri even if we run him aggressive.
Sounds like there's been a crash. Let's take a closer look. Now, we see the Williams here. A definite...
Considering that he hit the wall relatively hard there, I think we should be happy with just some chassis damage, really. And of course, he's still a lap ahead of most cars. We'll have to deal with that. Minor damage to chassis, but again, shouldn't be a concern. And with that, we could also just run attack here. We could try and see how much he would gain a lap. If it's not a lot, we'll just tune him down to be, you know, play it safe here. Because it's basically been a full wet race. We don't gain anything from risking it. Half a second, 15 laps. That's 7.5 seconds. So let's just run it standard. It's still a pretty good race. Can't really complain. And again, Gasly's 1.13 seconds away from second place. And as you can see, losing time drastically. But yeah, this is definitely a good race for Alpine. Gasly in third, unless of course he has an accident. Verstappen in red is still weird to me. But yeah, nothing much happening. Doohan is down into 19th. And generally just a bad day for the Astons and of course Schumacher. No safety car, but someone crashed. Bottas, by the looks of the pitting.
I think that was a crash. Let's
Turn
take a
7,
look at the
which
replay.
has claimed a
Now
lot
we
of
see
cars.
Valtteri Bottas. There's the crash.
But yeah, potentially, it's doubtful, but potentially,
Oh,
yes,
that's a
here.
crash.
Russell crashed out too. Okay, turn 7, same one, I assume. There's only 4 laps to go.
So it's not training in the pit lane.
But potentially here we could try and force Piastri to run a bit more aggressively. And see if he can maybe lap everyone. Because he has, again, 30 seconds to Pourchaire and then almost 2 minutes to Gasly. So he has time to crash pit and still come out on top.
Last lap, last
Really.
lap.
I just want to see if he can, you know, catch up and lap the entire field. They lap down to Sainz, double lap. So that says something. 3 laps for the bottom 3. And a car might just be a tad bit too dominant now after the massive regulation changes. In terms of race performance, again, Gasly getting 3rd for Alpine is good. Verstappen 4th, Sainz 5th, and Ocon 6th. So Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes again share points. Alpine has decided they want to be part of the party. And as a result, the Drivers' Championship has Russell and Zhou both moving down 2 spots. Gasly up to 5th, Verstappen up to 6th. And Magnussen here had a good performance, moving up to 13th from 18th. In terms of constructors, Ferrari moves up a spot, Red Bull down 1, but they're equal on points. So we'll have to see how that ends up being. But yeah, a good race. Development-wise, wet races don't offer a lot because, as you can imagine, it's basically just, you know, routine for us. Piastri didn't have a single overtake starting in P1. He had some successful defense though, 6. But even so, we didn't have a lot of things happening. We got up front and we stayed there, basically. In terms of money, making an extra, well, 1.4 million is good. 6.2 total. And again, money isn't an issue, but it's just nice to see that number. Design for the side pods have been completed. Design for the suspension has been completed. We are going to be manufacturing both of these. And we are going to get back onto, well, research, honestly. Because there's nothing else really for us to do. Research is what we will be doing. Arabian Grand Prix, a good one. Yeah, pretty good, all things considered. And with that, I'd like to say thank you for watching. And again, thanks for 2,000 subs. Please like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And I hope you've enjoyed this, the first race of the season. Again, it looks like it might be a bit of a boring one, but we'll consider what we do with Piastri, with Pourchaire, and, well, potentially testing a little bit and seeing how effective smoothness is from what we've seen so far. Those 35 points that Pourchaire has on him in smoothness. If he had them on pace stats, he'd probably have a better chance of beating out Piastri, in all honesty. But yeah, with that said, thank you again for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. I'm a bit unsure if the next part will come out today or tomorrow. I'm a bit busy, sadly, but I think I'll try and get it out a little bit later today, and then I'll have the, well, the first half of the season, the other kind of video, as well as the final one for, well, the halfway point, if you will, out tomorrow, hopefully. Yeah, thank you for watching again, and hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.